Meditation Masterclass 1. What is meditation? The word meditation is one of the misused, rather abused words of the English vocabulary. It is so mistreated that we no longer know what it precisely means. Say, for an instance, it could mean mere musing or pondering on a subject. Even worse, it could be understood as something that is best described as building castles in air. It could be easily misunderstood for any number of such states, and its true meaning is rather lost. Which to me is quite amusing, as the word reflects no definitive meaning. It relieves one from the whole habit of reducing the experience of fundamental reality in the terms of fragmented ideas, thoughts, and concepts rather than perceiving it as a whole. But it also imposes a legit threat of self-deceiving experience of meditation, where one might think he or she is meditating and keeps on waiting for years and years for a spiritual experience, only to be disappointed, as one might be merely absorbed in thoughts or sleep or any number of experiences derived from all possible adaptations of the word meditation, which is more likely to happen in absence of qualified teachers, and especially when accompanied by books written by pretentious writers and teachers, which are quite ample in both West and the East. So, what could be done? Before offering a solution, let's dig in the problem. A solution to any problem always lies in the problem itself. In reality, there is no difference between both. They are one single process. However, the former appears in the scene prior to the latter. Yet, both are inseparable, involved into one another since the very beginning. The problem lies not in the word meditation and how it is interpreted. In fact, the problem has nothing to do with the word meditation. Meditation is just an alternative used to translate the Sanskrit word dhyan. But what else can we use? You can use contemplation, but its meaning is equally polluted. Then you can use absorption, but it indicates rather a hypnotic state. And we shall find the same problem repeating itself. So better leave it untranslated and incorporate it into the dictionary like its Japanese equivalent Zen. Philologically, Sanskrit dhyan, as in Pali Jan, is the original form of Chinese Chan and Japanese Zen. Simply incorporate dhyan as a new word and then start teaching the methods, and this eliminates the problem and releases one from the effort of getting rid of all the possible meanings of the word meditation. And once the student starts to experience, he or she doesn't need a verbal definition. He shall associate dhyan with not an idea or a concept, but rather an experience. Yet, for this to happen, a student needs an incessant loop of feedback with an experienced teacher, if not personally, then by exchanging letters or telephonic conversation. This exchange is crucial to determine whether the experience he or she associates with the word dhyan is truly that or not. Even if one doesn't have an access to an experienced yogi, this approach provides the benefit of getting rid of all the possible meanings associated with the word dhyan or word meditation. And after getting rid of all conventional meanings of the word meditation, it can be used synonymously with dhyan, although this doesn't appear as one to an amateur. But this in itself is a great aid, because to say don't go left is almost an equally beneficial guidance as to say go right or go straight, if one interprets it in the correct manner. This solves the first problem, yet second problem persists, which is, how do you know if you are meditating or not in an absence of an embodied teacher? This is a classical paradox. If a person shall meet you on the footpath or sidewalk and reveal to you, I am God, what shall you do? What if you insult him and he truly is? But what if you surrender to realize that to only realize that he is a thug in the end? The problem is solved If you have an intermediary you trust, such as an experienced teacher, but that's the only thing more improbable than finding a most precious jewel in a bag of rubbish. So don't bother about it. Once you are ready, the teacher shall find you. So back to the topic. Um, we do need to describe dhyana or meditation, but this imposes two problems. Firstly, it is impossible to describe it. How do you think the word got so obscure? Because those who experience it describe it not, and those who describe it are just trying to grasp it with conventional intelligence and keep arguing about it. So the true sense of word, as if it supposedly existed, has been lost in the noise. Secondly, if we describe dhyan or meditation in some way or another, it and however explicitly one does that, there is always a threat that one will understand it in words and ideas, but then clinging to this mental image of dhyan will bind one from experiencing it. Yet if one doesn't describe dhyan, how can one determine if he or she is meditating or not? Additionally, if you ask someone to meditate by focusing on breath, just focus on breath, don't think of anything. Simply focus on breath. It is like asking someone not to think of an apple, and the first image that pops up in our mind is of an apple. So, if you do that, then meditation becomes a struggle because an individual is constantly fighting the spontaneous process of thinking and eventually ends up thinking about not thinking. This is because the student has no object of knowledge, without which he knows not what meditation is. So, how do you describe something and simultaneously not describe it? And there are two possible alternatives to solve this problem. The first one is to provide most elaborate description about what it is not, and none whatsoever about what it is. And with time and through experience, the student shall grasp exactly what we mean. This is like revealing an intricate sculpture out of a stone or block of wood by finely chiseling and scraping away all the material that is unneeded. The second one is to provide most unintelligible suggestion, almost so parabolic and metaphorical in sense that the symbol could never be mistaken for the truth. Actually, one needs a combination of both. At times, the former aspect will shall prove to be more beneficial, and at other times, the latter one. Now, this is exactly what we are going to do. We shall describe what couldn't possibly be described, yet in the end, this shall leave no residual image on your mind other than a vague idea which shall at once be so helpful that it will become a guide and mentor, at, and at the same time so abstract that it couldn't be mistaken for the experience itself. So instead of giving any authoritative statements which are anyhow incomplete and false, we shall go through rather vague experience which shall be thought provoking and will open your mind to the problem solving methods of the subjective science of meditation. But I warn you, if you try to grasp it through your intelligence, which is like trying to hold water in a clenched fist, you shall lose it. You shall lose it all. But if you simply cup your hand, you shall retain the water. That is to say, let your mind absorb it without trying to think of it in terms of ideas and concepts. Yet, try not to stop it from thinking of it in terms of ideas and concepts. Allow whatever spontaneously and effortlessly occurs without interfering with it, and you shall retain it and benefit immensely from it, which is a less dramatic way of saying let the divine will take care of it all. Thank you. See you in the next session. Please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon.